to get my good side? Well, then another guy calls up yes to me this time, and he says, "Yo, Sam, I want to interview you." And I thought, by God, we now got some experience. I'm going to do pretty good. So I go in there. You guys laugh at everything. You want to come with me every place I go? It's kind of, no, I don't want you to neither, so it's even. Anyhow, so I go in there, and this time the guy says, "Okie dokie," says, "I'm going to ask you 3 questions." I got you that time. You're pretty foxy, but I got that peripheral, that vision out the sides. Yeah, but you didn't have the other thing on. I seen that. And also he says, "All right," he says, "I got 3 questions. You can either answer them right here, you can go out and think on them." And I said, "Well, let's see what you got." So he says, "Okie dokie," he says, "Number 1, I want to know how many days of the week I start with T. Number 2, if there's 60 seconds in a minute, how many seconds are there in a year? And number 3, how many D's are there in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?" I said, "Well, I can answer that first one." He says, "Okie dokie," says, "Number 1, how many days of the week do I start with T?" And I said, 2, today and tomorrow. Well, he says, "No, that's not exactly how I was thinking, but I guess that's the right answer." He says, "I got to take that one." He says, "How about number 2?" And I said, "Well, I can answer that one too." And he says, "Holy rollers," he says, "that'd be pretty good if you can do that. If there's 60 seconds in a minute, how many seconds are there in a year?" And I said, 12. The 2nd of January, the 2nd of February, the 2nd of March, the 2nd of April. And he says, "Hold on there." He says, "No, by golly," he says, "no, that's not how I was thinking either." But he says, "I guess that's the right answer." He says, "I got to take that one too." He says, "How about number 3?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to have to think on that one." So I went to the outside and I was thinking and thinking. And I come back and he says to me, he says, "Are you ready?" And I say, because that's what I say when I'm ready, you know. He says, "Okie dokie," says, "Number 3, how many D's are there in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?" And I said, 233. He says, 233? How do you get that? And I said, dee 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 dee. He didn't like that so good, you know, but he told me, "I like the way you're thinking on the first or 2 ones." He says, "I'm going to give you another chance." And he gives me this piece of paper and he says, "On this piece of paper is all the states and all the capitals," he says. "I want you to take this home tonight and think on it and come back tomorrow and I'll ask you some questions." And I said, "Okie doke." So all the night long I was thinking and thinking and thinking. And the next morning I know them all. So I go in there and he says to me, he says, "Are you ready?" And I said, "That was pretty good. Let's try it again." Okie doke. So he says, "Okie doke," he says, "Number 1, but it's the capital of Montana." And I said, "M." And that's how come I'm here today, because I don't got no job.